In the silent, frozen darkness of the North Atlantic, the Titanic's last hours were chronicled not by pen or by voice, but by a series of staccato bursts of electricity, a desperate Morse code symphony echoing across the void. Within the cramped Marconi wireless cabin, Jack Phillips, just 25, and Harold Bride, barely 22, manned the keys. Their hands trembled from cold and fear, but they knew their duty: to send, minute by minute, the only contemporaneous written record of the disaster as it unfolded. In these final hours, the world outside was oblivious. Yet across the ether, their messages formed a bridge between life, death, and history. The night had started like any other, routine messages, a steady rhythm of communication. But when the iceberg struck, that rhythm shattered. Water began to surge below decks, and the Titanic's fate was sealed. Phillips and Bride, realizing the gravity, turned immediately to the Marconi set. At first, they used CQD, the established distress signal. 3 short, 3 long, 3 short. CQD, Jack tapped out urgently. CQD, this is Titanic. Come at once. We have struck a berg. The message leapt from the wireless, a coded scream for help. Minutes passed, each longer and colder than the last. The operators began to alternate between CQD and the newer, less familiar SOS. Bride, in a moment of grim levity, nudged Phillips. Send SOS. It's the new call, and it may be your last chance to send it. And so Phillips complied, the sharp dots and dashes of SOS echoing for the first time in a disaster of this scale. Every message was a lifeline thrown into the darkness, a hope that someone, anyone, would hear. Ships responded. The Carpathia, the Frankfurt, and the Mount Temple, among others, received the Titanic's calls. Yet confusion reigned. Technology was young, and the airwaves, unregulated, grew chaotic. Amateur radio operators, some halfway across the world, jabbered across the frequencies. Some, perhaps caught up in the drama, even sent false assurances. All Titanic passengers safe. The truth, however, was far grimmer. Phillips and Bride worked frantically, fighting static, interference, and the steady rise of icy water at their feet. As the ship listed and the stern began to lift, the tone of the messages grew ever more desperate. Come quick, Phillips sent. Engine room nearly full. The wireless set sputtered. Cannot last much longer. Losing power. Each message was a chronicle of hope dwindling, the voice of a ship and its people slipping away. At 2:10 a.m., a message stark in its simplicity. We are sinking fast. The words, stripped of flourish, carried the weight of hundreds of souls. Then at 2:17, the final authenticated transmission. CQD, this is Titanic. CQD, this is Titanic. And then silence. The wireless set died, the last spark of connection snuffed out as the ship's lights flickered and the Atlantic claimed its prize. What did these messages truly reveal? Not only the technical details of a disaster, but the resilience and devotion of those who remained at their posts, transmitting hope until the very end. The radio calls exposed both the promise and peril of new technology, how human ingenuity could bridge distances, but also be undone by chaos and confusion. In those final moments, the Titanic's operators spoke for everyone aboard, not simply that they were sinking, but that in the darkest hour, they would not surrender to silence. Even now, more than a century later, the last Morse code signals from the Titanic linger in the imagination, a testament to courage, a warning, and a mystery echoing in the deep.